Well, it's Saturday, February 17th. It's about 4 o'clock in the day. First half of this day did not go super well. Well, let me just show you what I did yesterday first. So it does look like something got done at least. I put in my inner fenders. And I moved this thing. And it's sitting on top of that, which that's not bolted in. And what I did one other thing. Oh, I bolted the steering column in now with my flush mount screws like I was gonna do. So it is 100% solid. Feels real good. The whole truck is shaking. Anyway, yeah, that got bolted in the other day. I think some of the bolts are still not in, just the front teeth, so I could sit in it and feel like, yeah, now I got a crew cab. All right, anyway, back to the not so great of news Saturday morning that I've had. The 4th gen radiator and intercooler setup is flat out not gonna work, no matter how I slice the pie on this truck. Originally, my plan was to move the engine back on the drivetrain, on the frame, I mean, and cut out the firewall where it's necessary, which it'll definitely be necessary over here because this stupid EGR garbage. And even if I take that off, because it's already deleted, it just doesn't have the block off plates. This. So, that thing, it's like an inch away from the wall there. Can't even get 2 fingers between. Anyway, here's the turning point in the day. I went, because there's a dude down in Palmyra that's got apparently like 5 or 6 of these old trucks. And I've only seen I've seen 3 or 4 of them, but he's got a whole stockpile of them out behind the barn that he's using for parts. And I guess one of them hit something pretty good. So he just cut the frame off of it. Well, this don't even look like it's been wrecked, so I don't understand what he hit. Yeah, so anyway, he gave me these parts. The hood, and he's gonna give me a truck cab, but he wants the 292 and the 4-speed out of the old C60 frame. So that works out good, because that thing, you know, might as well just give it away. It's the cab off this wrecked truck. So he took a forklift and stuck it straight through the windshield and pulled the cab off the frame. So the frame still got shreds of the cab mounts left, and then the cab is just like ripped open on the top. So, but the only good parts really on it is the metal window guides that I kind of need for my back windows. I was gonna run without those, but now I'm gonna have some. It looks like it has these things, which I'm gonna use to lengthen my hood if that's the route I still go. And then it's got about that much of the fender that's not hacked off of this one. You can see there. So that'll be enough to help me figure out if I'm gonna lengthen my truck or not. I'll cut these up and I won't feel bad about it. Plus, I got this grill, which is in pretty good shape, other than where it was sitting in some water or something. So that's gonna be my new wall hanger. All right, I get way too excited about rusty pieces of freaking junk in my garage, but here we are with another one. Anyway, yeah, this is cool, man. This C60 grill. Actually, somebody asked me the other day if I had a C60 grill for sale. And I guess now I do. Or I will. This is pretty, though. I really kind of just want to put it on my wall. Also, period correct headlights, because these have some freaking Sylvanias in there. Well, that one's a Wagner. This one's a Sylvania halogen. Anyway, yeah, they match and they look nice. I did get some, oh, that's just ice on it. I thought it was busted. Anyway, okay, so I did get some like cool looking ones that have the angel eye halo majig thing around them. But one of them, let's see, I put one of them in the KZ650 because it's got a 7-inch headlight bucket. So it's got a big old headlight with the halo. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do here now, I really wish I had an air ratchet. I need to just go down to Harbor Freight, it seems like. Because this would be a lot faster. Maybe I'll hook the impact to it. But I'm gonna get these fenders off there and put them on that like they're supposed to be. And then I'm gonna cut the front of this one. And I won't feel bad because it's already completely destroyed. All right, so that is 8 inches stretched out there in the front. It's like 7 3/4, 8. I didn't figure it needed to be exactly perfect just yet. That's a big old gap to fill. I think we're gonna go out tonight. It's Saturday night, so I ain't gonna mess with this for a while. Come back later, maybe. I don't know. I think later I'll fill. I think I'm gonna go to Harbor Freight and get an air ratchet. I did find this thing that I had in a drawer, but this isn't quite an air ratchet because it wouldn't. There's some areas it won't fit, but this is pretty cool nonetheless. Anyway, gonna go buy an air ratchet and come back and then get some cardboard and start scabbing in this area, I guess, and see how she looks. I'll probably just take this thing apart tonight. That'll be a nice, easy beer drinking project. And then I'll have my air ratchet too, so I can just zip it apart. Then I'm probably gonna sell this grill, even though it's beautiful. This red truck is gorgeous for some reason. This is my problem, dude. This is why I have so much garbage in this garage. This thing is just a rusty old bent up piece of crap, and I'm like, yeah, it's beautiful. Same thing with that 4th gen a couple weeks ago. It's all dented and beat up, and I put some wide wheels on. I was like, yeah, this is beautiful. So that's my problem. That's why I got so much junk in here. I'll be pulling an engine and a transmission at some point, and then when I get that other cab, I'll have the other piece of this fender. I don't guess that engine's worth very much. Maybe like $500 or $600 with the transmission, and all this heap of scrap metal is probably worth even less than that. But I don't know. I ain't gonna do nothing with that engine. At least somebody will get some good use out of it. You know, take this other hood and cut off the back of it and place it next to my hood, I guess. I think that'll do. I don't know. My dad's suggestion was use these things, which here's one off the black truck. It would be fitting to have the one off the black truck pieced into the crew cab. It belongs there a little more than the red C60 from down the road does, but I guess this is the side for, I guess the other one got thrown away because the passenger side was the side that got squished on the black truck. One of my buddies texted me back a bit ago, and he was like, hey, I'll trade you a case of Natty Lights for this 2nd gen intercooler. And the reason I am saying 2nd gen intercooler is because, or radiator or any of it, is because they're more rectangular shaped than this tall, skinny thing. And it did work on the orange truck, and it did work on the rat truck. The 61 C60 with the 12 valve that I did back in college. Anyway, if I lengthen the front end, hopefully I can get a radiator, intercooler, clutch fan, and the transmission cooler and AC condenser. We'll scab in some metal, see how she looks, throw the bumper up there. I'll probably use this front end piece instead of my blue one. This truck used to be red too by the looks of it. Well, it definitely did. Well, so I made it to Harbor Freight yesterday. Got some new air tools. I got me a punch flange tool. I've been wanting one of these. I broke one of my drills. It fell off the table and just busted the aluminum case. These are like 15 bucks at Harbor Freight. I couldn't believe it, so I just went ahead and bought one. Sounds pretty good. That it does. Sounds pretty good. We'll probably use the heck out of this thing. Got 3 drills and 2 air ratchets, 2 3/8 air ratchets, 1 1/4 inch one. That little thing, I think I got a 1/4 inch one of these things too, maybe. I don't remember. All right, well, we're in business now. I'm gonna finish taking apart this front end and get what I need off of it and throw the rest of it in the scrap pile. I don't know when I'm gonna go get that cab. You know, I texted my dad last night and told him I got all this. The guy gave it to me for free. And he's like, well, don't give him that 292 and 4-speed just yet. We'll make a hot rod out of it. It'd be cool to make one of those big wheeled rat rod T-bucket things out of the C60 frame, but I don't know if that's even worth doing. I mean, we'll see, I guess. We'll see what happens next. What I really want is the whole fleet. So the 65 here, and then a 67 through 72 crew cab, which I intend to build next. There's one sitting across the street. It's just a single cab long bed. It's probably about a 69 or 70. I haven't got a super good look at it because it's all overgrown. It's literally sitting in the junk pile across the street. And then I want a square body crew cab too. Rough idea of how this is gonna look. This piano bench finally was useful for once, instead of just being in the freaking way. So speaking of things being in the way, I'm gonna take a minute to clean this garage. I cleaned up a little bit. I have a ridiculous pile of crap over here. I'm thinking about literally just loading all of this into the bed of the truck and just taking it to scrap. Even though it's kind of valuable. A weight bench, a CBR engine, and a hacked up crappy old go-kart. But I'm sick of the mess. And then that is scrap metal for sure. All that is. And then the whole bed of the truck is filled with mostly that front end I tore apart. But let's see, it's got the inner fenders I cut out of that truck. It's got the inner fenders that I took out of the other truck. The core support was all bent up. The roof of the black truck, or a section of it. One of the doors off the 63 truck. These I-beams. So I probably need to go dump this out back somewhere before the sun goes down or something, so that way my truck's available next time I need it. Thinking what I need to do next is just put this wood in the bed of the truck. So that way that's done, it's out of the way. I'll have some random cut-off pieces that I can use for something, I'm sure. It'll give me a whole bed of this truck to pile garbage in when that's done. So the blue truck parts right there, the roll pan here, whatever the heck else will get thrown back here. And that's how that'll work. I got the bed mounted for the most part. I do have to go to the hardware store and get some longer bolts because it jiggles up front. This one's mounted solid, so from forward to that jiggles, which I'll have to get some bolts for this too because that one's not really the right length. Those aren't the right length. So pretty much first thing tomorrow, I'm gonna have to go to the hardware store, get bolts of the right length, so that way I can actually make this meet that solid. And then the other thing I'm gonna have to do is take this piece of angle iron here that I got and clean her up nicely and mount this to that, because I do not like how this jiggles. The orange truck does that, and there's stupid looking gaps between the pieces of wood, and I don't like that at all. I thought about putting this like inside the toolbox, that way I can pop the top open. I'm gonna get a low profile black one like what was on what's in my white truck, and I'm gonna have to shim this up just a hair more because that body line doesn't quite match. All right, so project is still the truck bed today, and I welded that piece in earlier. I don't know if that's hardened steel or spring steel or I don't know, but drill bits do not like this stuff. I tried to drill 6 holes in it, and these 2 holes were already there, so I just bolted through those, and I don't know, the 1/8 inch drill bit would get through it, and then 1/4 inch would just wear out. And so I tried another 1/4 inch, and it just wore it out immediately. So I was like, screw it, we'll just use 2 bolts. I'm not wasting any more drill bits. They're expensive. This little brace in here, that one was pretty close to the perfect length. I may have to do a little bit to it. I just stuck it on the ground stud that was my filler, and that's what I'm about to work on now. I put those things in. They got the springs under them, so they work like they're supposed to. I'm probably gonna repaint this because the paint was not cured because it was cold outside. It was like a day and a half, 2 days later when we were in here stepping on this too, and it was still tacky. So anyway, I still need to paint this, that one, and then the fenders, the part that's probably just do the whole inside of the truck bed, to be honest. But this right here is what I'm about to do. This makes me a little bit nervous because I don't know, I wasn't really wanting to do any more sheet metal stuff, but this is kind of necessary. Either that or it's going to be in the toolbox. I think this would be a lot more of a finished look if it was right there. So that's what we'll do, I guess. I'm just gonna have a white cap until the truck gets painted. Well, I was nervous about cutting this hole in the side of my truck. I was like, I don't want to F this up. So guess what I did? I F'd it up. Real smart, real smart. I used that flange tool. I was like, heck yeah, I got that. I'm gonna use it. So I made me a nice little joggle around the edge there. And first off, didn't realize it at the time, but that joggle is not even an 1/8 of an inch. So, or 18 gauge thickness, whatever 18 gauge thickness is. So when I put it up there, assuming this did fit correctly, it's not even flush right there. But what I did was I traced around the outside of this whole piece of steel like a and now I have a freaking big hole. So I really did it this way. So I just, god dang, this really pisses me off. I was gonna like Cleco it in there, you know, nice and square like, and weld it, and it was gonna be nice and easy, but I'm not that smart, so I don't know. We're gonna work with what we got. I can't have this ruined now. I'm not gonna claim this is perfect by any means, because it's not. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna mount it parallel to the ground. That's level. Well, the truck has a freaking crazy rake on it still, and yeah, so it's I don't know. I might lift the front of the truck up and put it level like I want it to be, and then see how it looks then. If not, I'll just have to fill this in or something, make it invisible. But anyway, this line is the flange that I made in there. The weld I've cleaned out pretty well, so it's almost not visible because it's about 3/8 of an inch to 1/2 inch above where this flange is. So the weld looks decent. So I think what I'm gonna do with this is, I took this is basically a dolly, I guess. It was a chunk of steel or a hammer or something. I don't know, it came with that toolbox I got. Anyway, I cut off the end of it so that way I could get it in there up top because the inner bed is in there. So I can get in there, and I beat on it with a hammer for a while, but I'm not gonna sit here all night and do it with a hammer. I'm going to get a flush rivet set and stick it on my air hammer and just go to town on this thing. And if I find that they make an actual bodywork tool that does that, I'll just buy it. But I tried to get one of those plastic things to fit in there. They're not gonna work. They're meant to be mounted higher. You can see the gas tank's like straight in there. So this is gonna be slightly above the height of the bed. So I did, where is it? I did make this thing and a little bracket to mount to those 2 holes there, and it just mounts on that 1 hole there, and it's pretty close to where it's supposed to be. I did that already, but I'm gonna have to get some hose that actually fits, because this side it fit because it's already worn out and had a hose clamp on it at some point. This came off that 292 inline 6 engine. That hose did, heater hose. Anyway, I'm gonna have to get a hose that fits that too. This came off the van that my dad pulled that 6.0 Vortec engine out of. The same van I got all these seats out of. And that one. And I think the other one's under these blankets. But I don't know. I mean, it looks like it's flat out the wrong angle, to be honest about it. So I may have to fill in that finger hole and figure it out, because I really don't want to take this back out and twist it a few degrees, and it's a whole lot of work. So I cleaned up a little bit of a mess. I stuck that fuel neck in there, and I added another brace to it, so that way it's good and solid. That 8L clamp and that, and because I was worried that that's just going to vibrate and break off. So it's pretty good, I think. And then we'll get some hose and we'll connect them, and then we'll ground that thing maybe back to that if it fits. But that'll work, I think. So there's a handful of things that I need to do before I fully mount the wood in the bed, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that just so that way when I go to work tonight I have something pretty to look at. There's one of my snaps off my thing, my trim piece. Well, anyway, the only other things that need to get done is mounting this part of the bed. I need to get that mounted to the frame. The one on the other side where I did the fuel neck is done. So I'm thinking I'm gonna take that there and that 1/4-20 nut or bolt, and it's mounted on the ground stud right there on the other side. So I might grind off a little bit of paint, weld that bolt as a stud facing outwards, and then stick it in there like that. But I think I can do that after I put the wood in the bed, or I'm not gonna bolt it down right now anyway. So I just want to cut it so it looks nice, and it looks like something good got done this weekend. I've been messing with this bed all freaking weekend, man. So, but honestly, that don't look too bad now that, you know, I think it's a hair bit of a downward angle, but it's a circle. So all I gotta do is fill in that finger tab, or move it. I think it'll look all right. All right, I'm calling it a day. It's still daylight outside, but I gotta go to work 10:30 tonight. So I'm gonna go eat some dinner and go to bed. Little short pieces. Those worked out good because they fit right there. And that was the last of what was left of cutting the 97 3/4 off. And so this is right up against the tailgate. I haven't even raised the tailgate yet. Let's do that. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, so that's kind of what I was going for, but it's probably going to be more like that one because some of these aren't perfectly straight. Also, the one over there, the ones sitting on top of that, if you can see, I'll just go right here. There's a gap between that piece of metal and that piece of wood, even though it's sitting on top of that. I'm gonna have to shim these up so that way they're even with the rest of the deck here. I was gonna just cut out a circle around that gooseneck ball, but this wood would be too high, and I don't think I'd be able to get a trailer on there. Or I'd go to get a trailer, and then it wouldn't fit, and then it'd be a whole ordeal. That's the only truck I got with a gooseneck ball. Guess I could have put this in the other Dodge, but this will be a work truck. She'll look freaking sweet pulling stuff to the front end. I'm wanting the whole thing to be mounted and solid, so that way when I get the engine done, I can just pull this thing out of the garage or get the wiring done. I'll get this done, everything hard mounted, then I'll stick the wiring harness back in. There's a whole lot of it. There's a whole lot of wiring still on this thing, and the main harness is out of it, so it's in that box over there by the welder. Earlier when I was out on the motorcycle, I got the little hose pieces to stick in there. Got this one for free because it was just like a 4-inch section or 5, whatever this is. And he's just like, here, take it. I can't sell it. And then this was like a radiator hose off of some car or whatever. So it's in there. This is secure. I put another 8/0 clamp on it. It's pretty secure in there. I know these are not perfect, but may have to adjust this because it's like right there, and it does hit the cap, and the cap has to be at a certain angle so it fits between all this stuff to get it to close all the way. Anyway, not very steep. I really hope I don't have issues with filling this thing up because that'll aggravate me. I mean, it's definitely at a downhill angle, but I don't know if it's enough. We'll see. I had the that flatbed truck, the rat truck. See, yeah, that's the other thing. It has to be facing like that. It's got to be at that angle, and it hits it, and then you just got to press it anyway. Anyway, yeah, the rat truck had a really shallow angle on the fill because it was a flatbed truck, and it was a pain in the butt to fill up. And luckily down there in Somerset where I had that truck, there was a fuel station that had a pretty good angle at the diesel pump, and I'd always take it there, like I had to pretty much, and then just park it where the whole truck was sitting at an angle and fill it up. Anyway, yeah, the old Vic was a success. It was freezing cold. I knew it would be, but at least it's the first time I got it out this year. A little bit of fun at least.